Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button. And if you have any opinions at all that you would like to share, make sure to leave them down in the comment section. Bladee and Ecco2k. Crest. Bladee and Ecco2k are both European rappers, singers, and members of the Drain Gang collective. I'm sure a few of you now are probably familiar with my Bladee reviews. I've done both Glue and Ever Since on this channel. Both reviews will be located in the corner if you want to go check those out. I haven't listened to a lot of Ecco2k's solo material, but I have enjoyed the vast majority of his features across Blade's projects. Now we're here with what I believe is their first collaborative record with just these two, a surprise release, Crest. Been wanting to hop into this for a minute, so let's just dive right in. What are my thoughts on Crest? Let's find out as I review it track by track. Since it was of course a surprise drop, there were no singles, so we will just start at the top of the track list with that being The Flag Is Raised, which I adore. This almost cutesy instrumental. The distorted, garbled synths are still rather high-pitched, the bass pounds and claps of the snare have a nice groove, and the sandy hi-hat only adds to that, and when it all breaks down like on the first verse, I just instinctively snap along to it. Ecco2k's chorus is just so sticky and memorable. The raspy falsetto is almost transcendental in how it manages to sweep me away, while Bladee delivers an amazing atypical melodic verse as these lyrics seem to stretch out to spirituality and religion. There's some references to Buddhism, and also the Virgin Mary gets brought up. It's a nice opening song. 5-star Crest parentheses for Vatten Rum, which is nearly a 9-minute cut, the longest here hands down. And personally, I don't think it does much with that 9 minutes. The track is almost split up into several different segments, transitioning through them via different breakdowns. There's no individual bad part of this musical voyage, but it's so long, and frankly by about the 4-minute mark, I was just done with it. To be fair though, the track does have its moments. The highlights for me were about the 2-minute mark with these syrupy, childlike bleeps and bloops, plus a steady hypnotizing drum. Also around the 5.5-minute mark with the wintry synths, the avalanche of rustling percussion. It feels very comforting, and I also do like the last 2 minutes of the track, even though at certain times it can just feel like a vacuous closing statement. There were moments where I almost felt like I was wandering through the corridors of an ice castle. It can muster up that kind of serene ambience. But honestly, it's not a track I have too much desire to revisit in full. There are bits and pieces I wish I could separate into their own tracks, but the song as a full unit is very hit or miss. Not my favorite. White Meadow is a very soothing and relaxing song, almost like I actually am frolicking through a meadow with a milky overcast above. The stamping percussion is very satisfying to just nod along to while being assisted by some wavering, scratchy synths, glittery twinkles in the background, and the performances. Oh god, the performances. Bladee is so laid back and carefree on this track, it almost feels like he's frolicking the same path I am in sheer bliss over this beat. Meanwhile, Ecco's delivery almost harps on his more androgynous singing style, and it's calming in how light and feathery both MCs appear on this track, as these lyrics seem to continue the spiritual theme while also retaining a slight bit of that negativity that flooded earlier Bladee projects. How, even in normal, almost serendipitous moments, there is pessimism and anxiety that can sweep you over at any moment. It's one of the many wondrous aspects of life. Love this song. Faust, the shortest track on the album, just barely above 2 minutes, and this track really lets the sugariness of the album's instrumental peak full force. It's so poppy and light and honestly fun. The synths are crystalline and twinkle with the snappiness of the snare, plus there's some coy whistling in the background presenting an easygoing undertone to this beat. Both MCs have a pillowy tone to their delivery. It's soft and it's very pleasing as well, which only accentuates the pop feeling of the track, as these lyrics seem to point towards wanting to get closer to God, whether that's through spiritual or even mortal means. Very nice track. Yes's parentheses Red Cross is an alright track. I don't hate it at all, but this one definitely does have its quirks. Let's start with the positives though. I love the hissing of the percussion, the bass that sounds like a heartbeat, and the glistening synth work. Plus, when it all breaks down to a toe-tapping rhythm with Ecco2k's minimal, breathy delivery, it's stupidly infectious, and I adore it. Plus, he seems to be rapping about ditching the luxurious accessories he has and is trying to pursue a simpler, more spiritual life, which certainly ties with the album's running theme as well. However, the main thing here that I'm not a fan of is Blade's chorus, and pretty much every structural thing up to Ecco's verse, hearing just yes repeated like 900 times over. While I do understand the repetitive appeal, it got really tiring for me real quick, so it's not a bad song, but it's just not a favorite on the album for me. Desire as a Trap is one of the poppiest and most saccharine songs I've ever heard a rapper do. The beat is so sunny and cheerful, the squealing synth adds a bright foundation to the song, as the snare actually sounds like a group clapping, while the thumping of the bass could easily help this song fit on pop radio. Meanwhile, the breathiness of both MCs manages to meld in with the beat, creating this sugary hodgepodge of sounds, and it's very enjoyable and pleasing to the ears, as we get another track here tackling spirituality, in this case Buddhism, like on the opener, with the title specifically referencing a Buddhist principle about how the desiring of material goods, pleasure, and even immortality are needs that can never truly be satiated, thus leading to suffering. Love this one. Chaos Follows takes a little bit of time to warm up, sprinkling in the atmosphere slowly instead of dumping it all in at the very start, and when the track does come in, it's much less sugary than I expected. The compressed, earthquake-like rumbles of the percussion with the glossy synths. It almost sounds like something I would have heard on Eversense with this frozen aura that the song emits. Even though the song is kind of an outlier in the album, despite the melodies and performances from both Blade and Ecco being very polished and poppy, I think it's a welcome change, and I enjoy the song. Girls Just Wanna Have Fun is an incredible track. I've been suckered into this one a lot recently. I like the muddy, foggy mood of the synths. The bass has some true weight to it while the percussion dances along with it. So catchy and satisfying. I also enjoy how well Ecco plays off this beat, utilizing his breathy, almost raspy falsetto again, while Blade also performs in his higher register. Both MCs flow over this beat well, as the lyrics seem to talk about struggling with internal desires, wanting to be wanted. It's a pretty standard track comparatively speaking, but man, I just get so suckered into it. Love it. And finally, the closer, Heaven Sings, is the typical slower track to finish the album, and what an amazing way to finish. I love the ensconcing heavenly ambience that makes up the vast majority of the instrumental. Even though little else gets added, I could honestly listen to this beat for an entire album. Both Blade and Ecco focus more on their singing here, so much so that I wouldn't even label this as a rap song anymore. The performances are so soulful and bright, it's a phenomenal way to finish a record. Overall, man, what an album. This was extremely enjoyable. Gorgeous production all around, courtesy of White Armor, an accessible yet still distinctly drained take on pop music, and all around sticky melodies that can be ingrained in your mind after listening. I can't say it was perfect though. I did have moments where I was either annoyed from the repetition or, in the obvious case, the length, but that's really only 2 songs, while the rest of the album was honestly some of the best material I've ever heard from the Drain Gang. I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on this album. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.